Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back. We're doing a top 3 series this week, counting down some of the biggest stories of this year. And today, it's all about consumer issues. So it makes sense. We're here with Chris Chmura, our consumer investigator. Hi, Chris.
Isn't every day about consumer issues?
Every single day, at least for you. Yeah. Your world is full of that.
Yours too, probably, because you're a consumer.
That's true. Okay, Chris, so let's get right into it. Let's start the countdown. What is that third spot?
Okay, I think it's going to be catalytic converter thefts. Ooh. Have you heard about this?
Yes, well, I heard about it from you.
Yeah, so people all over the Bay Area, all around the country are having their catalytic converters stolen in the middle of the night. And we got to figure out what's going on here because we don't know exactly who's stealing all of them because not too many of them get busted. We don't know who's buying the metals that are inside because that's why they steal them. But at the end of the day, though, when they steal your catalytic converter, it can cost you thousands of dollars. So it's something that's got to be figured out. And in the meantime, what you can do is you can get your catalytic converter etched with your license number or your vehicle identification number. We tried it out.
Yeah.
How-to video. Yeah, it went well, right? Really well.
It was interesting. Yeah,
Hashtag fail. And so we recommend that you get it done professionally or check with some police departments because some of them are doing free events where you can get it etched for free. Hopefully a thief would see that it's etched and say, I'm going to move on to another car or
scare them off.
But yeah, scare them off from stealing yours.
First of all, I didn't even know what a catalytic converter was until the story, and then I was scared. I was like, I don't want to park anywhere anymore because, I mean, thousands of dollars you're talking about here.
Yeah, a couple of $3,000, $4,000 easily. A couple of cases we've heard people who were hit more than once. Insurance doesn't always cover it. If you have comprehensive coverage as part of your insurance policy, it should be covered. If you don't have comprehensive coverage, you might be on the hook for it if they steal them. You might have car insurance, but it might not cover when a thief steals the catalytic converter.
Okay, if you want to learn how to etch yours at home, go to NBCBayArea.com/response. You'll see Chris's video there on how to do that. Okay, the number 2 spot. Or not, yeah. Number two spot, yes.
Number 2 spot. Okay, I think it's issues with the airlines. I think what we're learning is that the airlines are not bouncing back from COVID-19 as quickly as we hoped they would or as we think they should. So I think it's really important for us to learn from this that when we're traveling, we've got to build in some buffer, a little bit of extra time. You got to come up with a plan B and look at, okay, if I'm not going to make my flight, what's the next flight? What's the next flight after that? I try to do that every single time. Do some research and then get the airline app. I tried to contact a carrier who will remain nameless, but it took us hours to get through on the phone. So you've got to take that into account. If you rebook yourself on the app, you might be able to get it done even faster. If you do have to contact them, and there are some cases where you absolutely do have to talk to somebody at the airline, like if you're traveling with a pet in cabin, or if you're traveling internationally with a child, and there are some others too, you have to contact them. We recommend doing it on social media. We did a little experiment with an airline.
Do they answer quicker?
And so, yeah, so when we called in, they said, oh, well, we can't talk to you now. We'll call you back in like 4+ hours. Then we went onto Twitter and we got a response within like an hour and a half.
I didn't know that. That's a great tip.
But I would ideally, if I were in that situation, I would be burning up the phone, I would be on Twitter, I would be trying the app all at the same time.
No, this is good because, I mean, it adds a little bit to your to-do list, right, before you travel, but it makes sure and it gives you that plan B in case you do get stuck or have that come out. Yeah, for sure.
And then afterward, you should fight for compensation. If it's a weather delay, you're probably not going to get anything out of them, but when it's on them, when it's the airline's fault, when they don't have proper staffing, when the airplane breaks, when it's an airline issue, then you can request compensation, and I think you should get it. It's really up to the airlines individually and their contracts, but you should press firmly but politely.
Issues with airlines and flights and all the above. Yes, number 2 right there. Okay, that number 1 spot. A little drum roll here. I mean, so many consumer issues this year, I think, because of so many different factors. But what's that number 1 for you?
It's still people having trouble getting their money back for COVID cancellations. All over the place. Airlines, cruise lines, hotels, concerts.
Oh, yeah.
So many people contacted us this year because they had concerts that were scheduled around the pandemic, during the pandemic, and they got pushed back, or canceled, or whatever. And so people have been fighting to get their money back. Instead, the venues and the performers and the promoters, that whole group of them, somebody in there is holding on to the money. The little secret here is that if you're a California resident going to a California show and there is a California cancellation, California law says you are entitled to a refund when they do that. So you don't have to argue anything other than Section 22507 of the Business and Professions Code that you get your money back. And so our team a couple times has dealt with people who had concert tickets and they couldn't get their money back. They've been fighting for weeks or months. We send one email. We say Section 22507.
That's it.
Refund.
That's what it takes.
Yeah, you can do it too.
And I was going to say, people out there can do it too.
Exactly.
Remember that number. I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so frustrating that here we are. We're basically at 2 years since all this started, and people are still having to fight to get their money back. It is completely unacceptable that companies are still being so strict, or for that matter, just ignoring the law and not giving people their money back. It really is a lesson that we have to stand up for ourselves. You know, we're numero uno. Take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the lesson that we've learned, is that we really do, as consumers, have to take care of ourselves, because a lot of companies did not and are not taking care of us through the pandemic.
All right, there you have it. Those are Chris's top 3 consumer issues of 2021. Let me know in the comments what have been your biggest consumer issues of this year. I want to thank you all for watching, and be sure to tune back in tomorrow for the top 3 sports highlights of 2021. We'll see you.